All right, so we're just out here playing around. I bought this property about a year ago. I'm going to be talking today about just what I'm going to be doing in preparation for the flu season to protect me and my family. And I specifically want to talk about the fact that we need to be educating the masses and get this type of information out to people, because I am surrounded right now by elderberry, which is a 100% proven, effective, natural, non-toxic, very safe, you know, answer to the influenza virus, flu, colds. You know, I've given this stuff to my boy who was just, you know, he was definitely fighting the cold or the flu. He wasn't feeling very well. And literally within a couple hours of having him sip on some elderberry and blueberry tea with some raw honey in it and ginger root, you know, that boy just rebounded, and we got to go outside and play for the rest of the day. So it's fantastic being able to personally see the potential of this plant in being able to help people feel well and get well. But there are several clinical trials in human beings give you the facts behind it. This plant right here, elderberry, this is a big one right behind me. This is going to have a lot of berries to harvest here in a few weeks. You know, that's why I'm doing this right now in Tennessee. Elderberry is getting ready to ripen. The berries are on there. There's a few plants that I've found that have ripe berries on them, but we're getting ready to harvest it. But the research on this has shown that when you compare the use of elderberry versus typical treatments, over-the-counter medications, most people will have the flu or cold for about 6 days on average. For 90% of people under the typical treatment, it took about 6 days to get over the flu. Well, those individuals being given, not the placebo, but being given, and they were allowed to use drugs in one of the trials in humans, so they were able to use over-the-counter drugs and still didn't get well very fast, still about that 6-day mark. But individuals being given elderberry were able to get over the flu in around 2 to 3 days. So 2 to 3 days they were down with any type of illness, symptom, and problem. So it effectively, they literally said it effectively cured the flu within about 2 to 3 days, and 90% of the subjects taking elderberry tinctures and elderberry extracts. So, you know, you can harvest these berries when they're nice, bright, and purple. There are a few starting to get ripe down in through here. And through here, they'll turn a bright, deep purple color. So that's when they're ready to be harvested. And then you can just pull these whole tufts of berries off, take them home, dry them, save them, and then boil them and make a tea out of them when somebody in your family gets the cold or the flu. But I wanted to touch further on the reality of medicine right now in our country, especially the United States, and just the, you know, it's flat out, no matter how you look at it, how you put it, you know what, medicine is big pharma is very, very corrupt. They want to hold on to their profits. Roche convinced governments around the world to stockpile their drugs so they can make billions of dollars on taxpayer money, including the United States. But they got countries to stockpile the drug in preparation for the swine flu epidemic that was supposed to occur in 2009, 2010. Well, they did that because they were all about the money. When we had a safer, effective alternative that people, at least in, you know, North America and different places all over the world, really could be growing their own flu remedy right now for free if they wanted to. Just pick a spot, Al Thorne in my rear end. Ugh. Anyways, but you get this. So countries spent our hard-earned taxpayer money on the drug Tamiflu, and then come to find out, British Medical Journal, Cochrane Database of Systematic Reviews, major medical journals that are actually doing some actually good work, looking out for the lives of humans, you know, human beings and children, they found out that Roche withheld evidence that that drug had no effectiveness of reducing mortality. The clinical trials showed a half a day less. So again, if you go back to the beginning of the video, this elderberry reduced the cold and flu from about 6 days on average down to 2 or 3. That's a 50% plus reduction in the flu duration from this plant right here in human trials, folks. Roche got FDA approval because their drug Tamiflu, which cost a whole lot more money, they got approval for a half a day less cold and flu symptoms if they administered the drug within the first 2 days of the cold and flu. It doesn't work if you don't get it in them before then. But get this, folks. So they lied. Roche lied about the safety and effectiveness, withholding data, locked it up, didn't even want to let the FDA, after the FDA and British Medical Journal called upon Roche to release that data. You know, researchers in the British Medical Journal called upon European nations to sue, the governments to sue the manufacturer Roche, the manufacturer Tamiflu, for withholding data and information that showed that their drug was actually harmful. It's still on the market here in the United States, folks. So this coming flu season, guess what? I pray nobody goes to their medical physician and gets Tamiflu. You want to know why? Because that drug has been shown through the unpublished data to increase suicide, especially in children. There were countless numbers of children committing suicide immediately following psychiatric events induced by Tamiflu. And on top of that, Tamiflu increased the likelihood of children especially, get this, children having severe diarrhea and vomiting. Those are the worst. Diarrhea and vomiting and dehydration are like the worst things that can occur during the flu. Dehydration is the worst thing that can occur. And Tamiflu increased the likelihood of that occurring. That's just frustrating and outrageous to me that our government continues, our FDA, at least they said to Roche, you can't claim your Tamiflu actually saves lives. You can't claim that. Well, don't worry. Roche paid the CDC officials and the head of the CDC at the time, a couple years ago, Dr. Frieden, they paid millions of dollars to fund the campaign for the Take 3 campaign on the flu, get your vaccine, get your drugs, and I don't know what else. I would say if you want to, survive the flu season, don't listen to the CDC because they lied on national television after the FDA said, Roche, you can't say that it actually reduces mortality because you haven't produced data saying that. Actually, you have data showing it kills people. But anyways, they still allow it on the market. I don't know why the FDA does that. They don't actually have the power, they said, to take drugs off the market. They can suggest after they approve. It's ridiculous. It is ridiculous the power the pharmaceutical company have over our government agencies like the FDA and the CDC. But they sit there and tote it as being, so people are getting this drug Tamiflu and they don't realize the serious side effects and the zero benefit that it has in the clinical trials and the unpublished data. They don't realize, why doesn't our CDC and our government say, let's get money back in the hand of, the farmers and people out there. Let's teach them about wilderness remedies like the elderberry. This patch was just growing for free on my property when I bought it a little over a year ago and found this patch, and I've just started to weed eat around it and open it up and let it, just continue to grow and, provide my family, my friends, with an opportunity to stay healthy and well without serious side effects of like suicide. Can you imagine a parent going to their doctor, wanting their child to get well after the flu, and they take a drug and then they find out that drug caused suicide after their child actually took their own life? Unacceptable to me. Please get this information out to people who need it. Let them know there's a safer alternative in this plant right here, elderberry. Hey everybody, I'm the Wild Doc, and if you enjoyed this video, make sure that you hop on over to thewilddoc.com. Subscribe there for our newsletter and email campaign. Join in the conversation on Facebook, and let's transform the world by unleashing the power of natural healing.